Number 15. Multiple hauntings.
Okay, that'll f***ing do it for me.
Even skeptics will have trouble with this one. This list is made entirely out of fan submissions. Thank you to everyone who submitted their footage and stories. We would love to hear any updates from those whose videos appear in this list. Redditor 21Savage21 was in his home just after Christmas when paranormal activity began. Before the video starts, it appears as if a cabinet door has swung open. As soon as he begins recording, the door swings shut and lightly slams. He keeps calm but is obviously shaken, now pacing around his kitchen. Furthermore, the light fixture in his dining room begins swinging on its own. Despite trying to stay calm and venture towards the cabinet, he loses his nerve and flees to the door as the video stops. In the comments, he explains the activity began back in September of 2017. In the same response, he notes that if you listen closely at the end of the footage, at 22 seconds, you can hear something say hey, which comes right after he asks hello.
Hello?
He had posted a video of him exploring some 19th century graves near his house, which he believes could be the source of his haunting. But the video has since been deleted. Several commenters have expressed worry about the source of the haunting and has pledged with this man to have a priest conduct an exorcism. Savage has said he is in the process of relocating and says he will indeed have the house cleansed before he leaves. It shows how ghosts not always have an attachment to the house itself, but to the area around it, including where the house now stands. Number 14. The Underground City.
So, actually, you know what, this goes even more underground. Oh, it's a strong smell of sewage though. Well, wait, what's that?
YouTuber and urban explorer Exploring with Fighters went to the hidden underground secret city under Manchester in the United Kingdom. Under this city is a sophisticated tunnel network stretching several miles or kilometers in distance. These tunnels date back all the way to the Victorian era. The group heads underground and begins exploring the very eerie area. There's two parts in this video that may prove the secret city is in fact haunted. 13 minutes into the video, a strange cloud of fog suddenly forms, and some viewers believe it's a paranormal apparition. It could not have been their breath in this cold underground tunnel, because the fog would be seen every time the cameraman exhales. Next, at 28 minutes into the video, the cameraman shines his flashlight at the ground, and what appears to be a human foot can be seen for just a split second. Truly a terrifying place that's directly below one of the United Kingdom's largest cities. Number 13. Doll Toss.
Turns out that, the toy... Oh my god. Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
Investigating the things that go bump can be a chilling experience. Jaden Applewood kept hearing toys in his sister's room going off one day. After several instances of this, he decided to investigate. Once he entered, he heard nothing, but as soon as he began filming, the doll made noise again. Freaked, Jaden decided to hastily exit, only for an object to loudly crash towards him and bounce several times at his feet. After this, the video ends. Jaden described himself feeling shook and scared, and later added these events have been happening for some time, although this was the first time he had recorded it.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
There has always been something about children's toys that have a creepy factor to them. Despite their function of entertainment, something was clearly attempting to get Jaden's attention, but for what purpose is unknown. Number 12. Shadow Figure.
Breath.
She has pretty powerful grenades here, and she's gonna screw someone over.
Of all the apparition types known to investigators, shadows are by far the most menacing. Fix shared a video of him sitting calmly in his room when a ghostly mass manifested in the hallway behind him. If you look close enough, it seems to resemble a person crouching down with barely a visible outline of a head. In his post, Fix explained how after he filmed the strange event, he suddenly became emotional and began crying. This is a common feature of apparitions, as these manifestations are not only physical, but also continue to house the emotions the person had in life, particularly right before passing on. For this reason, people who have encountered ghosts have also reported feeling an array of emotions, positive and negative. Most common are those of sorrow and anger. The entity Fix encountered must have been harboring a great deal of distress. Number 11, moving can.
We try to play with great tempo. We were able to do that today. Defensively,
that can is freaking moving.
Paranormal occurrences can be so small, if you blink you'll miss it. This wasn't the case for Marika and Eric Marks when something began wobbling a soda can in their living room. The can moved continuously from side to side along its circular bottom, and there doesn't appear to be anyone close enough to cause it to move in such a manner. Marika and Eric, along with their 2 boys, can be clearly heard expressing astonishment at the spectacle rather than fear.
That'll get you wins most
By itself.
How would you describe the role you're playing with Mark and Áron playing so well?
Let me see it. I want to see it.
It's right,
Look at the can and watch it.
Still the same, and that is to get us in the end zone.
Granted, this is a minor incident to behold in terms of strange phenomena, but is no less intriguing. It is unknown whether the cause of the movement was paranormal or some sort of magnetic interference. It is also unknown if this was an isolated incident or if similar bizarre happenings have happened before. Whatever the cause, it makes for an interesting event in the Marks family home. Number 10, potential number station. Radio signals are everywhere nowadays, so it's no surprise they can go haywire every so often. Tangled Toad was playing with a GE World Monitor radio when it started blaring strange transmission patterns. Part of it sounds right out of a Hammer horror film, resembling the howl of the wind through a haunted forest with wolf sounds to boot. On top of that are what sounds like Morse code. Anyone who has seen stories of number stations will instantly recognize the similarities between what Tangled Toad found and what previous number stations had broadcasted. Well, it's not in the vein of Black Ops. The number stations will blare loud pulses of sound for days, and every so often the sound of someone speaking can be heard, albeit rarely. Tangled Toad manages to tune into something possibly not part of regular programming. It is possibly tuned into some sort of government number station, but what it's transmitting may never be known. It is also possible it could be as simple as interference between 2 signals, or even a weather station. However, since number stations are still believed to transmit signals, we cannot dismiss that possibility. What sort of information could be getting transmitted? Knowing the world's governments, it could be anything. Number 9, haunted saloon. A submission from the Top 15's home turf. Alberta-based paranormal investigator Ranma 187, also known as Rob, conducted an investigation in an abandoned bar and was in the process of filming B-roll when he caught a disembodied voice on the camera's audio. He highlighted this clip at the start of the video. A voice is heard saying, "You'll kill," possibly referring to Rob himself, for activity to begin immediately and during B-roll. It is clear the building is quite haunted. A fellow investigator details how there were several stabbings and even a horrible criminal in the area. Also, an employee was accused of harassing coworkers and patrons before he mysteriously disappeared. During the rundown of the history, the group's EMF detector began going off. Also, twice in succession, one of the cameras was mysteriously shut off. Initially, they believed the camera's battery was drained, but when turned on again, the battery was full, meaning something had shut it off. During Rob's investigation of another room, he captures another EVP on his audio, which is hard to distinguish what the ghost is saying. All throughout, the group says they had odd feelings, and their EMF detector alarms kept spiking and going off, particularly near a wooden statue, leading them to believe a spirit had some sort of attachment to the statue. Number 8. Snapchat visitors.
Hi.
With the increased popularity of Snapchat, several of you have posted strange occurrences while using the app. Many of them involve invisible forces managing to be picked up by the facial recognition, creating floating incomplete faces. A poster of this phenomenon is Psych79 Polar, who appears to have a common surprise guest in several Snapchat stories. There are also others where strange noises are heard, but nothing is seen. The most common area the entity appears in is in a doorway between her living room and another room. Despite the creepy factor of the story, Psych's resident haunter does not seem to have any ill intent and even uses the Snapchat filter to wave at her in one video. Number 7. Forest noises. It is never advised one ventures deep into the woods at night, considering all sorts of dangers that could be out there. User, coincidentally named Forest, decided not to heed these warnings and had a truly terrifying encounter. He explains in the description, there's an urban legend in his home of Hendersonville, North Carolina, of a strange creature residing in the woods around the town. Forrest decides to investigate for himself whether or not the rumors were true and set out one night to the area the creature is supposed to live. Throughout his investigation, Forrest could hear strange pig noises, but is unable to locate the source of the sounds. After several more instances of grunts, a strange moan is heard in the distance, followed by more pig sounds. At approximately 2 minutes 19 seconds, an audible growl is heard, to which Forrest appears to react to. At the end of the video, the pig sounds get louder and sounds as if something is charging towards him. Terrified, Forrest flees the area as he is pursued by whatever is behind him. Forrest states in a comment the rumors of a creature date as far back as 2008. Commenters have speculated the possibility of a boar or other wild pig being responsible for the noises, but he remains unconvinced due to the variety of noises made by the creature. Leave your ideas of what it is in the comments below. Number 6. Anne's Purgatory.
Do you have one on camera? Talk to us, apparition. It's right there. Oh my. Oh god. Okay, it disappeared right when Trent touched it.
Areas all over the world have their local legends. This was the subject of Ryan Past 2's video when he and his friend set out to tackle the legend of Ghost Trestle in Adrian, Michigan. Ryan and Trent downloaded a different ghost detecting app each in order to conduct an experiment and attempt to contact the ghost of a woman who was run over by a train. attempting to signal the engineer for help, while her husband burned alive attempting to extinguish their burning barn. Off the bat, Ryan's app detects something in front of them, and Trent begins producing words, including discovered and purgatory.
Get that on video, is on. Yeah. Dude, it said purgatory. It's about to... Is this where you're stuck? Are you stuck here?
The camera on Ryan's phone picks up an apparition, which disappears when Trent reaches out, followed by a message saying aggressive after it reappears. They ask its name and she says Anne. The two also hear knocking noises, but things became more strange when they went on top of the trestle. They spotted a light far down the tracks, which appears to get closer but never reach them. When they went back down, there's an audible train whistle, odd since the tracks are no longer in use.
Right there. Right there. You hear that? Yeah.
Sounds are heard around them in the trees, and the two become visibly freaked out. As they were leaving, a car drove by, and the camera shows a shadow person who was not seen while the two were present, and wasn't spotted until editing. While not definitive, the footage is undoubtedly worthy of the paranormal archives. Should you decide to investigate Ghost Trestle yourself, take heed that you'll be in for a scare. Number 5. Strange noises outside. Nature sounds are its own genre of music. When Captain Oof, also known as Cameron, stepped out onto his porch one night, he heard a different kind of music. In his footage, distinct knots and a high-pitched sound can be heard emanating from the woods in front of him. If one studies the sounds closely, they do resemble the sounds of whistles and even overlap each other at times. The sounds are also in notes known in music, most notably A sharp and C. If one listens closely and beyond the sounds of cars in the background, there is also a humming sound accompanying the notes. Upon closer inspection of the footage itself, there's a strange light from the woods that is far below the one of the radio tower above. It is unknown if this light is related to the sounds, and the source of the sounds themselves remain a mystery. It could be some sort of sound from some metal rubbing against each other, or someone playing a wind instrument in the distance. It could also be the wind blowing through something. On the other hand, the woods hold many legends, including those involving strange sounds. Perhaps there is some sort of spirit out there making this music, and its glow visible from the dark forest surrounding it. As of now, it is up for speculation, and it's possible these sounds could appear in your backyard at any time. Number 4. Bedroom orbs. A common phenomenon linked to hauntings are orbs. While still controversial, orbs are still a sight to cause excitement from enthusiasts. Sammy Pryor was hanging out with her sister and a friend when they captured several orbs on camera. The trio asked questions, and it appeared as if the orbs would manifest whenever they wished to give an answer. The incident had an effect on Sammy's sister Carrie, who was at one point frozen in fear. Carrie and the third woman, Kristen, changed places and continues to ask questions. Only this time the orbs become more active. While these could easily be written off as dust particles, the orbs seem to move intelligently and differently depending on who is in front of the camera. The event was certainly an exciting one, as evident from the tone of the trio's voices. It's also clear the spirits had no intention of harm. Since Sammy's dog remains calm during the event, since animals are known to be sensitive to the paranormal, the dog would have been acting up if these orbs were malevolent in any way. If you're ever filming random footage in your home, be sure to take a closer look at any orbs flying around, instead of dismissing them outright. Number 3. Devil's Church. Churches are meant to be a place of peace, which makes us wonder how this next entry gained its nickname. Devil's Donuts have conducted a couple of investigations at his home, where several orbs have been known to appear. In one video, he is sleeping in bed while his wife or girlfriend is tending to their baby. During the 4 minutes of footage, around a dozen of orbs can be seen floating around in an intelligent manner. To think these entities can be floating around, invisible to the naked eye, while we are sleeping or doing different tasks, all the while not knowing what they are or what their intentions are, is certainly worrisome. Devil's Donuts has also conducted investigations of a place known as Devil's Church. Commenters have noted spotting several orbs, including one that hangs motionless for several moments, moving slowly up and down. Churches themselves, while peaceful, also have a sense of eeriness on them, which is increased tenfold once the place is abandoned. What's eerie about this investigation is, despite the church being in pitch dark, it was actually filmed during the day. The journey down the steps into the Devil's Church also gives the viewer a feeling of descending into hell itself, a dark, worn-down basement where only darkness resides. Number 2. Lakeside Screams. While walking through nature, we can expect to hear sounds of birds, the wind through trees and bushes, possibly an occasional squirrel or deer. What we definitely don't expect are the sounds of unfathomable terror. Twitter user Kita posted a video on the site his cousin had taken. It is next to a lake as the day approaches twilight. The sun's light barely visible above the clouds. The scene is truly beautiful, and much of what is described above can be heard. However, breaking through the serene beauty is the sharp scream of a woman in distress. There is also what sounds to be a child crying, followed by loud audible grunts from the same woman who screamed seconds earlier. Kita claims the town which he and his cousin live is haunted, but the cousin wishes to remain anonymous for the sake of privacy. Other possibilities for the horrific noise could be as simple as a wild animal, notably a cougar, since their screeches can sound similar to blood-curdling screams. It could also be from a real woman in distress, either being attacked or possibly drowning somewhere in the lake. This is what makes the video scary, not knowing which answer is true. If it is from those who haunt the area, it is a tormented spirit from whatever horrific acts that may have happened there. If it was a real person, it's excruciating to feel we could very well have heard someone's life slipping away, unable to help since we have no idea where it was coming from. If you come across a random lake, stop and listen, and hope you don't hear what Kita's cousin did. Before we get to number 1, my name is Chills and I hope you're enjoying my narration. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find out. I'm currently doing a super poll on my Instagram. If you believe ghosts are real, then go to my most recent photo and tap the like button. If you don't, DM me saying why. When you're done, come right back to this video to find out the number 1 entry. Chills merch is now available, and I'm gifting viewers who spend over $100 with a 100% free foot lettuce t-shirt to show my appreciation. This offer won't last forever, so get yours by visiting chillsmerch.com. Also, follow me on Twitter at YT_chills because that's where I post video updates. It's a proven fact that generosity makes you a happier person, so if you're generous enough to hit that subscribe button and the bell beside it, then thank you. This way, you'll be notified of the new videos we upload every Tuesday and Saturday. Number 1, Ghostly Apparition at Home. Even during the day, creepy things can happen. Renega Dodif has a series of cameras around his home for security purposes. While reviewing the footage one day, he notices a strange shadow move from his door to the right side of the room before disappearing. If one watches the shadow closely, then look to the left of where it is, it can clearly be seen reflected in the mirror, meaning it was not added in through editing. The shadow could not be from a person because the motion activated camera on his porch was not triggered. He also discusses how he has been experiencing strange banging noises and objects falling to the ground in his garage, only to find nothing there upon investigation. Obviously, something else is living in the house, but sadly not much else is known about the haunting. What can be deducted though is this shadow has some sort of connection to the garage. Perhaps this is where a previous owner has spent much of its time during life, explaining its presence there and fascination with the tools, or perhaps there could be a much more sinister reason. Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe because we upload new countdowns every Tuesday and Saturday. Or if you're still not convinced, here are some of our other videos that I think you'd like. Enjoy!